What's up everyone, I'm Trevor Andrews, and this is a little segment I like to call From This to That, where I give you a little peek into my editing process. So I streamed this first live on Twitch, then I edited it down for your viewing pleasure. Also so I get around the copyright law, because I pretty much play whatever music I want. So go ahead and check that out too. Links in the description. Now without further ado, let's get started. Well, here we are in the exciting world of Photoshop, where I'm going to start by taking 15, maybe 30 pounds right off the midsection. And I'm going to do this by just going to Filter, Liquify, and then I'm going to use the smudge tool to just pull it in. Later on I was doing a post check in the mirror, and I'm pretty sure I was breathing out. But you know what? If you want to suck your fat in on the Photoshop, you do you. Live life how you want. I'm certainly not going to judge. I'm all about that body positive life, but if there's something in a photo that you can't unsee, then I get rid of it. That's what Photoshop's for. I'm just trying to work slowly here, making minor corrections, because it could come off too obvious sometimes if you move too quick. Now I think I'm just getting my eyes by 30%, make myself beautiful. Boop! Nah, I'm just kidding. It's a subtle change. That's what we're going for. Subtle changes. Then I lower my face width by a little bit and watch as 30 pounds just melts away. Now onto my pizza face. I think first I'm going to start by using a lasso on a new blemishes layer. Circle all the major blemishes and get rid of them using the content aware tool. Photoshop offers many ways to achieve this goal, and this is just the one I like to use. I'm going to even out the skin later, so right now I'm mainly only looking for blemishes. And I visualize blemishes as actual skin detail as opposed to just color difference. While I work, you could kind of see me do a lot of close-up and distance comparisons. I tried to do this so I'm only working in visible areas of the photo. I don't want to waste too much time on something no one will see. I think now I'm satisfied with that. It's time to smooth out the skin with a little frequency separation. And stick with me here because I'm going to go filter, blur, Gaussian, blur, radius, 11. Then with high tech set to active, I'm going to go to image, apply image, and I'm going to set all of that up. And with the blending mode set to linear light, I've successfully separated the detail from the tone. I can now go through with a highly feathered lasso tool, smooth out the different areas of the skin. Now with the low blur layer active, I'm going to circle various blotchy areas of the skin and use Gaussian blur set to 40 pixels. If you're using this technique, the amount of blur required will vary. Then I can just use Ctrl F to just reapply the filter on any other highlighted areas. Now once I'm happy with it and I feel sufficiently smoothed out, I'm going to go ahead and drop the opacity to about 75%. It's looking pretty good. Now I think we're going to move on to the next technique, just called dodging and burning. Now I always get this one screwed up because I always think of it like you're dodging the light or you're burning it in, but it's actually the other way around. If you're trying to remember it, just think the opposite of that. Now I'm just going to invert those masks, and while I'm at it, I'm going to name everything something cool that I can remember, like Freak Set. And with the flow of my brush set to about 4%, I'm going to use the dodge mask to brighten areas that are too dark and the burn mask to darken areas that are too bright. Now this is going to give you sort of what I would consider that classic airbrushed look, and it's mainly because we're going through and we're just evening out all the values on the skin. Sort of the same idea why we all look so good behind a ring light. We're just getting such even light on all of our face that it's hard to see the difference in light and color that make blotches and blemishes visible. I feel like whenever I do a portrait of someone, I learn an intimate detail of them I otherwise wouldn't have noticed. Nothing too significant, but one time I had a client whose ears registered on the HSL as yellow. The funny thing is I never knew my brow was so heavy. Like, I feel like I look Romanian or Middle Eastern or something. If you've ever seen that show, What We Do in the Shadows, I feel like I look like a young Nandor. For the eyes, I'm going to use a separate dodge layer, call it eye dodge. Then I'm going to use this little hand tool so I can select exactly where on the curve the eyes are. Then I'm going to bring the values up. And with my brush set to about 40%, I'm going to go ahead and paint in over my eyes on the mask. The next thing I think I'm going to do, and I don't often do this, I think I'm going to try to match the skin to a palette color. To do this, I'm going to take a section of the face and average out the skin values. I need this area so I could use it as a reference point to compare against a palette color. Now that I have a nice hot doggy palette color chosen, I'm just going to use the tone curve on the red, blue, and green channels to just go ahead and match the two colors. Delete these two layers. Then, because I only want these changes to apply to my skin only, I'm going to select color range and make a mask of my skin. Mask active, and with brush set to overlay, I'm going to try to make all the areas except for my skin black. Boop. Oh my god, I am the hot dog. Now this change seems a bit drastic, so I'm just gonna drop the opacity to about 50%. Group all these layers together, and I think I'm gonna call this skin grading. Now from here I'm gonna go on to my final step, and that's just add in the effects. Mostly what I think I'll do is add some gradient layers and then blend them using a couple of different blending modes. So yeah, I think the colors I'll be working with is a navy blue, what I like to call Cool Breeze. And I think for the blending mode, I think I'm going to choose overlay. Opacity, 75%. Maybe use a curves adjustment layer to blend it a little bit more. Then maybe I'll slap a warming filter on it. Why not? Blending mode, maybe screen. Then I think I'm going to do one more gradient. I'm going to make this a radial starting from the center, sort of scale it how I like it. And I think for colors, I'm going to choose that dark blue and Cool Breeze again, because I'm trying to kind of work in a teal tone under the covers here. And for blending mode, screen, maybe opacity 34%. Now I'll just use the quick select tool to make a mask of myself. Now at this point, it's looking pretty good. The colors are looking pretty true but graded, but I'm just gonna be a madman. And even though we added a whole bunch of blue in with the gradients, I'm gonna use a hue saturation adjustment layer and desaturate those blues just a little bit. Group all those together, name it effects, and I think that's about it. And if you're then exporting to Lightroom, don't forget, best rule of thumb, always flatten your image. It compresses it and makes it a lot easier to deal with. Boom, boom. Wow, now that's quite the before and after. Now that's it for this week. If you liked the video, double punch that notification bell. So I'm still not sure if I should do an actual tutorial or if I should just chat. So also let me know, what kind of content do you want to see? Till another day, peace out.